You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Friday nights with Nautica de la Cruz.
Hello, Mo. I got a little distracted because I saw Mojo's. Is that what they're called?
Oh, yeah. Tuala's back with the food. Okay, let's go to break. KFI AM 640.
We're done. We're done. It's pie.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, happy Friday. It is time for Discover SoCal. And during my visit, I went to the Pasadena Museum of History. It was absolutely beautiful. I had the pleasure of exploring their fascinating exhibit, which is called 100 Years, 100 Images. Now, the collection brings Pasadena's past to life through a century's worth of powerful photographs. The images capture everything from historic street scenes to key moments in the city's cultural and social evolution. It's a visual time capsule that reflects how Pasadena has grown while preserving its deep-rooted charm. The exhibit also highlights the artistry of local photographers, which is beautiful. They also, each image tells a unique story, whether it's the early days of the Rose Parade, a historic architecture, or everyday life in different eras. Some of the featured artists include local journalists and independent photographers whose work helped shape the way Pasadena was seen and remembered. The variety of perspective adds depth to the experience, making it more than just a history lesson. It is a true celebration of Pasadena's identity. Now, the museum itself of the historic Feñez estate, which dates back to 1905, was built by Dr. Albert Feñez and his wife, Eva Scott Muse Feñez. That's a long name.
Say that 3 times.
Yes, Eva Scott Muse Feñez. The Grand Mansion was once a hub of Pasadena's elite. And when you look at it from the outside, you could just imagine how it was in that era. Now, Eva was also an artist and a traveler, and she filled the home with artwork and cultural artifacts, some of which remain on display today. Years later, the estate was passed down to their granddaughter, Leonora Babsy Curtin, and her husband, here's another big mouthful of a name, Yiro Alfred Palogemio, a Finnish diplomat. Now, in 1970, they generously donated the property to the city, ensuring its history would be preserved for future generations. And for just $9, visitors can explore this unique slice of Pasadena's past. While the mansion was closed because they have an upcoming special event during my visit, the exhibit alone was worth the trip. And whether you're a history lover, an art enthusiast, or just looking for something different to do on a weekend, I highly suggest the Pasadena Museum of History. You could log on to PasadenaHistory.org. That's PasadenaHistory.org for more information. The exhibit is in town till September 14th, 2025. Do check their calendar. And coming up in next week, which is the first day of spring, March 20th, they have The Most Human, Reconciling with My Father, Leonard Nimoy and Adam Nimoy from 7 to 8:30. It's his memoir, The Most Human, and discover how the son of Spock from Star Trek learned to navigate his unstable relationship and how he was finally able to reconcile with his father and himself. And that event is $18, but you have to reserve your ticket. So it's really a little bit of everything at this museum, but I highly suggest that you go to their website because they have different events. And once again, it's the Pasadena Museum of History, 470 West Walnut Street in Pasadena. And you're also allowed, if you pay for the entrance to the museum, you're also allowed to walk on the premises as well. And you cannot take pictures without a permit because sometimes,
that
people,
makes sense.
Right. But it's gorgeous and beautiful. And I could just standing in front of that mansion, I could just see all the dresses and the attire and the celebrities of that era, and just imagining just kind of like if you were there in a way, like that era of the Great Gatsby in a way with all the flapper dresses and, just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Now, I didn't get to go, like I said, inside because they're preparing for an event, but I did get to see the pictures online. Stunning house, stunning, great art collection, just a lot of history there.
I love it because you remind me of what is right in our backyard that I don't even think about, but it may inspire so many people to visit because we overlook a lot because there's so much that's bombarding us and vying for our attention. And there are truly some great places to discover right where we live already.
And we don't go to it. That's the funny part, right?
That's why we do this.
Right. You know, and like we've said a million times before, we only go to certain places when we have people visiting from out of town. And it's so sad.
And they want to go.
And they want to go. And you're like, well, I've never been there. Sure, let me go.
There's a reason.
I haven't been to it's on my list to go before the end of the month. The Ronald Reagan, I think it's the library. I am dying to go. And that's on my bucket list.
I haven't. You know what? I haven't been to the Reagan Library. I've been to the Nixon Library, but I haven't been to the Reagan Library.
Where's the Nixon Library?
It's in Orange County.
Okay.
I can't remember, I went out there for an event. Actually, it was Bruno Serrato, Caterina's Club, their annual event out there.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it was good. I got to be able to take my mom and my wife. It was a really good evening.
Oh, that's wonderful. Once again, if you'd like to go, Pasadena Museum of History, log on to pasadenahistory.org. Coming up, we do have the hidden gem. But before we go to break, I want to say he's not here today, but happy birthday to Pedro Moreno. Today's his birthday.
He's 25.
So that's why he's off tonight.
Yes, sir. I checked. We follow each other on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, it's your birthday." I was like, "I doubt he's going to be there, but I'm going to wish him a happy birthday." So happy birthday, Pedro Moreno.
I'll have to reach out to him.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Happy birthday to you.
You had to just show off this bilingual, showing everybody up.
You know, pie. You got to tell the story when we're done with our hidden gem.
No. We can tell it right now.
Right.
Go ahead. Tell it.
Oh, you were talking.
This is Pie Day,
It
National
is
Pie Day.
But you were talking about pies and just food, and then I don't know. I thought of NSYNC instead of the song "Bye Bye Bye." I said pie.
You're gonna
There you go.
You gonna do the choreography and the moves and everything?
I don't really know it. I'm sorry.
Really?
No, I don't.
That's too bad. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. When we come back, we'll have Nautica de la Cruz give us her hidden gem for the week.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And it's Friday nights with Nautica de la Cruz. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. In fact, we are Instagram live right now on This Weekend with Nick.
Yes, thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate that. All right, it's time for the hidden gem. Today's hidden gem is Victoria Vicky Velos. Vicky Velos had always loved fashion. As an assistant costume designer in the bustling Los Angeles film industry that we're in, she was constantly surrounded by racks of glamorous outfits, designer shoes, and accessories that could transform anyone into a star. But outside of work, her passion for clothing turned into something else, an addiction to shopping. She bought dresses she never wore, shoes that never left the box, and jackets that stayed buried in the back of her closet. It all came to a head one evening when she heard this loud crack. The wooden bar in the closet had snapped in half under the weight of her overflowing wardrobe. That was the moment she knew she had a problem, and I'm sure some women can relate. Determined to change, Vicky decided to do an early round of spring cleaning. As she sorted through her clothes, she found countless items with price tags still attached, pieces that were out of season, things that didn't fit her anymore or simply wasn't her style. She realized she had spent thousands of dollars on things she never even used. Like so many women, she often stood in front of her overflowing closet and thought, I have nothing to wear. And I know fellas have heard that before. But this time, instead of tossing everything into the trash, she wanted to do something good with it. Then that's when she discovered Planet Aid, a nonprofit organization that collects and recycles new and used clothing to support environmental and humanitarian efforts around the world. Planet Aid makes it easy for people to give their clothing a second life. The organization places donation bins in the cities across the county where people can drop off unwanted clothes and shoes. Instead of ending up in the landfills, these items are sorted, reused, or repurposed to fund programs that improve education, health, and community development in struggling regions. Their mission is to reduce waste, promote sustainability, and provide resources to those in need. Fast fashion and excessive consumerism have led to a staggering levels of clothing waste in America. And here are some eye-opening facts. The average American throws away 81 pounds of clothing each year. 85% of textiles end up in landfills instead of being recycled. And the fashion industry is responsible for nearly 10% of global carbon emissions. Thanks to Planet Aid, Vicky was able to turn her shopping habit into something positive. She now has decluttered, and she now thinks twice before making a purchase. And she also asks herself, do I need it? Do I have room in my closet, and is it necessary? So for more information, visit planetaid.org. And in some areas, you will see the yellow bins by a store or maybe a shopping center. And some other companies also, they provide the same service. The bins are either red or green. So I want to say that spring is coming up. Spring cleaning is around the corner. The first day of spring is March 20th, which is next week. So if you have extra clothes that, don't fit you, or you want to donate, or they're out of season, even if they have a price tag and you know that you're never going to wear it, go ahead and donate it. And for more information, please log on to planetaid.org.
So you're not a clothes horse?
You know what? I plead the fifth, Mo. No, actually, I used to be, but I now have downside. I live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and I have a small closet. So I have really condensed, and I've really enjoyed the minimalism life.
Well, my wife downsizes me because for some reason, every time I walk into the closet, I have less room, and she has more room.
Okay.
And there's certain articles of clothing I can't seem to find for some reason.
They've gone missing?
Yes, they are missing. I don't want to point fingers at anyone and make assumptions like someone's throwing out my clothes. I'm just saying I can't find them. That's all I'm saying.
But let me ask you this, because this is an infamous line, and I'm sure Mark and Steph and Nick have heard. When a woman says, I have nothing to wear, you do have stuff to wear. You just don't like what you have in your closet. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's no different than saying, we got 45 different streaming services, and maybe we have a streaming live TV provider, and we say there's nothing on TV.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but look, I understand, if I can generalize, women's relationship with clothes is different from men's. Mark and I were similar in respect. I have almost a uniform. I'll wear some blue, some black, some gray, and we'll leave it at that. And if I really want to get spicy, I'll throw in some brown. I save my dressing up for when I'm doing TV or I'm going out for the evening. I'll put on a suit or something like that. Other than that, it's all about comfort.
Or date night as well. But
What's that?
I'm just saying, if you have a date night
What's
with
that,
you.
huh?
But you know what? The funny part of when I was talking to Victoria or Vicky, she was telling me her story, and one of my best friends, she lives in a 2-bedroom with her daughter, and the same thing. She said she was watching TV and she heard this loud crack, and she could not find where it came from. She was like, something hit my window, blah blah blah. And she said the next morning when she went to pick something out for work, she found all her clothes on the floor. She was like, oh, that was the loud noise. And, those wood bars could only take so much weight. But sometimes I believe in, hey, every season, let's go through your closet. Go through your closet and just clean out some stuff.
I try to get better with that because there's certain things that I can look and realize I'm never going to wear that again. Right. I'm not. Whether I'm holding on to it because I want to lose 10 pounds or something and wear it, or it's not in style. I'm not ever going to wear it. And then I try to either take it to the Goodwill or something, but yes, it's not going to stay in the closet. I try to declutter every year. And I don't like to hold on to things. And
when you're driving around, like I said, Planet Aid is the yellow bins. They're really bright, a bright yellow bin. But they also have the green bins, and they also have these red bins. So if you see one, sometimes you'll see one in a shopping center where there is like a 7-Eleven, or if you see one and go, hey, I have some clothes to donate. Let me drop them off over here. So they go. It's for a very good cause, and it's good to kind of repurpose our clothes and repurpose the things that we're just not going to use anymore.
See, Mark, You got all the reason now to clean out your closet.
I wouldn't know where to start because everything is the same.
Yes, we're men of few choices.
Right. I love it.
Stefan, what about you? Are there things that you're holding on to for a little bit too long?
No, I actually had that conversation with Nautica when I recently had a little move. I got rid of anything or donated anything that I'm never going to wear again. And then I never wear pants, so it's always shorts for me.
Yeah. How do you do that? Where did that come from? Was that something that just started when you were a youth?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I run hot in general, and everyone asked me like, "Oh, so you must be from the East Coast?" And I'm like, "Nope, born and raised in L.A." But yeah.
The only time I'm going to wear shorts, it's got to be really hot, and obviously I'm not at work. I mean, out on rare occasions in the summer, I wear shorts to work, and that was more a function of doing the weekend show because it was the weekend.
Yep.
But coming in the office, like I'm just not going to wear shorts. You'll find me 99 times out of 100 in a collar style shirt. I'm not going to wear a T-shirt. That's just not me.
So not even at Chateau Limo, you don't rock shorts?
I'm trying to think. Some years I have, some years I haven't.
Okay.
But that was the 4th of July.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
You did rock shorts last summer when it was like 114 and 110.
Yeah.
And you showed your chicken legs, and they were good. They were nice.
Excuse me. They're not chicken legs. They've been doing thousands and thousands of kicks. See how they treat me here?
I love it. We love you,
I'm just furniture.
We love you.
How is it? Okay, now I'm going to come to your defense for just a moment, Nautica de la Cruz.
Yes, sir.
Stefan is laughing his ass off, and you still don't get a rim shot. It's just like, what the hell is it? What are we doing here?
She got shots fired.
It's an afterthought. We have a system here. It's about principles. It's principalities. If someone says something funny, you give them a rim shot. That's your job. It literally says that.
I forgot. Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the work details.
Mark has given up on you. I have not given up on you yet.
Hello.
Speaking of Mark, we have the Rahner Report when we come back with a little Manson tied in.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now on Later with Mo Kelly, Mark talks about movies and TV, pontificates about pop culture. Rahner Report with Mark Rahner.
KFI AM 640 is Later with Mo Kelly. Let's get to Mark Rahner and the Rahner Report.
All right, I was reading a book about the Manson killings called Chaos by Tom O'Neill, and he was on my short list of people to invite as a guest whenever I filled in again as host, if that ever happens again. I'd always been interested in that stuff, and before I moved to L.A., I was visiting, and a friend drove me to where the house on Cielo was, where Sharon Tate and the others were murdered, just because he knew I'd like that. I wasn't finished with the Chaos book. The library yanked it from me on my iPad because it was due. We're living in the future. Then I see Chaos, The Manson Murders, as a documentary on Netflix and directed by Errol Morris, no less. No brainer. Front of the line. Here is the trailer.
It's one of the scariest true stories out there. An 8.5-month pregnant, beautiful woman getting stabbed to death. Manson was able to gain control of his followers. He could get them to go out and kill on command without remorse. How did he learn how to brainwash those kids and turn them into monsters?
These people were on LSD. Manson was preaching all the time. Race wars, murder was okay.
When a story did start to emerge, it was managed very carefully.
It was managed and manipulated. I know that what we were told isn't what happened. There were these research scientists who were working secretly for the government.
One of the most bizarre episodes in CIA history.
Planted false memories in people without their awareness.
My world is a sad world.
Manson was really into mind control.
I understood what I was doing, but it just didn't make any difference.
Manson became exactly what the CIA was trying to create.
Well, you're suggesting Manson was a puppet.
Now, Morris won an Oscar for The Fog of War back in 2004, and if you haven't seen that, you're in for a treat. He's also done The Thin Blue Line and None of this is dull homework stuff. It's totally absorbing. Morris is 77 now, and not only has he not lost a step, but Chaos is such an immersive documentary that it really added layers to my understanding of this Manson case, and I wish it had been twice as long. It's just 96 minutes. You could fit like 2.5 of them into one brutalist. If you're like me, you've gone to sleep plenty of times with true crime documentaries on TV because they're soothing, and the guys with the deep voices are also very soothing to listen to while they're talking about horrific stuff. But you're not dozing off during this documentary with the graphics and the editing. This is like documentary Adderall. We know the Tate LaBianca killings back in 1969 were so horrifying that they more or less ended the swinging 60s. And they had an effect similar to what I understand about the Charles Starkweather killing spree a decade before that. People were freaked out and scared. Maybe you loved Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood like I did for giving us the fantasy ending we wished for, a lot like the one in Inglourious Bastards. Here's a spoiler. They smoke Hitler. Chaos does a thorough and, like I indicated, a hyperactive job of explaining who everyone was, where they were, how they were related to each other. The thing just barely stops short of showing charts with red strings showing who gave each other chlamydia. It's extremely thorough. If you've read Helter Skelter, the Chaos book and documentary are a whole different ballgame, in that it sort of craps all over Helter Skelter and Vincent Bugliosi, the Manson prosecutor who wrote it, or co-wrote it, or had it ghostwritten. That was the all-time best-selling true crime book. I wouldn't say I knew or was friends with Bugliosi, but I interviewed him around 2008 for his book called The Prosecution of George W. Bush for Murder. Whatever you want to say about the guy, he had balls roughly the size of the Goodyear blimp. In 2025, not a lot of people are going to argue that our invasion of Iraq was righteous or had anything to do with the 9/11 attack. It's an objective, nonpartisan fact at this point. And if you got a problem with it, go pick an argument with a historian, not me. But back in 2008, putting out a book about prosecuting a president for lying us into a war and the American soldiers who died from that, let's just say that it took some nerve. In fact, it got him blackballed from national media. If you look at the reception section for the book on Wikipedia, that's blank. The guy who wrote the all-time best-selling true crime book gets shut out of national media, and I was the only person in major media at the time, at the Seattle Times, in fact, to give him some ink. And it involved sticking my own neck out a little bit. I found Bugliosi to be sharp and impressive, not just in the interview, but throughout the process that goes with that stuff, the follow-ups, the fact checks. It's not like just sitting down for a tight 5 with Jimmy Kimmel. It's an exhaustive quality control process, and you don't really get it with a blog these days. After the interview finally ran, Bugliosi came to the old Seattle Times building to thank me and shake my hand in person, which was one of those solid old-school marks of class. I really liked him. Now, to be clear, this isn't some rambling bragathon about somebody famous I had a connection with. I'm admitting to you how naive I was and how this new documentary and book have caused me to rethink that whole scenario. Try to imagine how gobsmacked I was reading Tom O'Neill's Chaos and watching the Morris documentary to be told that Bugliosi may have fudged some stuff to shape the Manson story how he wanted it, and the real story was likely different and larger. And what that book goes into that the documentary doesn't is Bugliosi's back and forth with O'Neill, which gets a little nuts as O'Neill comes back to him with information that doesn't add up about the Manson case, and Bugliosi gets increasingly bent out of shape. Now, he's not around to defend himself. He's gone, so I guess O'Neill gets the last word. But O'Neill makes a compelling case, at the very least, that Bugliosi was mainly interested in making himself a star and then protecting his legacy. There's lots more in the documentary that I'll point out but not completely spoil. One thing is how close Manson was to breaking into the music industry and maybe becoming a star. You heard a snippet of his singing in the trailer. One of the Beach Boys was very involved with the Manson family, Dennis Wilson. He died in 1983, so I guess O'Neill gets the last word on him too. But some of Manson's music is played in the documentary, and it almost pains me to say this, it ain't terrible. It's of its time, and this drives home the concept that things could have easily gone the other way for him and lots of others around him. Something else O'Neill gets into, which a surviving prosecutor disagrees with, is a possible connection with Manson and MK Ultra, which was essentially a CIA mind control program. How did Charlie go from being a somewhat charismatic ex-con loser who nobody really took seriously back in the Haight-Ashbury district to a cult leader who could make women and men do anything for him, including killing? Maybe it wasn't just the Riz. How did Manson get so many breaks from the cops when he was on parole when they should have violated his ass several times over? I don't know how much I buy into the MK Ultra angle or even how much Morris does as a filmmaker. He strikes some new ground out himself and talks to people. It's not just a straight adaptation of the book. But this is all laid out plausibly, and I didn't feel like I was listening to the babblings of some crank telling me that, say, breast milk is better than vaccines and science. This stuff has lots of resonance in the present day, not specifically MK Ultra, but the way certain people can get their followers to become radicalized and do what you and I might consider to be the unthinkable. Based on my observation, people don't need to be coerced. Now, there's plenty of footage of Manson's family members then and later in their lives, and that stuff is chilling to me. True believers who don't blink when they talk to you. When they speak, it's in this patient, serene, even condescending voice while they're saying things that are utterly deranged. More than a half century ago, but relevant now, even if you don't have cable TV. I am not a conspiracy whack job, and you don't need to 100% buy into everything you watch, but this Chaos documentary on Netflix is even more worth your time than a trip to buy horse paste for your COVID. Mo?
So it was compelling. It makes a compelling argument. Is that fair to say?
Very absorbing, and O'Neill himself admits some things where he doesn't have conclusive evidence. I think the thing raises more questions than it answers, but it's interesting stuff, and it's not like that UFO show with the guy with the wild hair. What is that, Ancient Aliens?
Yes, Ancient Aliens.
I mean, some of that stuff can be fun, but I think this is serious, and it's extraordinarily well-crafted, well put together.
In fact, I'm going to take you up on that, and I'm going to watch it this weekend on the strength of your review and recommendation.
You got to tell me what you think of it. I'm really curious to see people's reactions. It doesn't have raves. Last time I looked on Rotten Tomatoes, it was somewhere down around a 65, and I just don't understand that.
Possibly because you and I are old enough to kind of remember the evolution of the whole Manson saga. Even though it happened right around when we were born, Manson was still a resonant figure in popular culture for a long time after that.
It was a major pop culture touchstone, and so was Helter Skelter.
Yes.
And the Beatles album that Manson got that from. He was a huge Beatles fan. The whole thing is really interesting, and one of the people was, I believe, Doris Day's son. Interesting rabbit hole to go down.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640, it's National Pie Day. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And tonight, for Name That Movie Cult Classic, got some special gifts to give away to some special people. We have 10 $50 gift certificates to Shakey's. We are only giving them away tonight to the ladies. It's ladies' night for Name That Movie Cult Classic. And we'd actually prefer ladies who have not played the game before to make sure everyone has a chance to win a prize. So we're looking for first-time ladies, as this obviously is Women's History Month, and it's also National Pie Day. The movies tonight, when we get to it next segment at the top of the hour, will have everything to do with pizza or pie. That means it could be a scene from a movie which involves pizza or pie, or pizza or pie could be part of the movie's title. But there will be a pizza or pie tie-in to all 10 of the movies, either explicitly in the scene, or maybe it is part of the movie's theme or title. But there will be a pizza and or pie connection to either the clip or the movie title itself. Come on, ladies, give us a call. Come get these $50 gift certificates to Shakey's. Ladies' Night, Women's History Month, on Later with Mo Kelly. So we are looking for the ladies. We have 10 $50 gift certificates to Shakey's, as in Shakey's Pizza. And before we say bye-bye to Pie Day, we're celebrating and have been celebrating with piping hot pizza here at Shakey's. Thanks courtesy of Shakey's. But when you go to Shakey's, you can choose from classic favorites or go for your own pie in the sky creation. And don't forget the Mojos. We had Mojos tonight as well. Ooh, love them. And you can dine in or get it to go at Shakey's.com. We're giving away 10 $50 gift certificates to Shakey's. It's ladies' night. We're only looking for the ladies. All 10 movie clips tonight will have a pie and or pizza tie-in. It will either be in the clip itself or in the title of the movie. Something else I got to let you know. Tickets are now available on sale at axs.com, AXS.com for Wango Tango. iHeartRadio's Wango Tango is returning to Southern California. We gave out a pair of tickets last night as well, and it's headed to Huntington City Beach. It's going to be on Saturday, May 10th, and Wango Tango's all-star lineup will feature performances among others, but it will include Doja Cat, Meghan Trainor, David Guetta, Cat's Eye, Inmix, Psychers, A2O May, Hearts to Hearts, and at sunset, Orange County's own Gwen Stefani. Tickets are available right now at axs.com. That's AXS.com. And I'm looking at the call board. Wow. Every single line is filled of nothing but ladies. As we're doing Ladies' Night here on Later with Mo Kelly for this National Pie Day, it's going to be politically incorrect. It's probably going to be uncomfortable. And it's going to be damn sure funny. Mark Rahner, have fun with this one.
I'm dreading what you've picked.
Oh, boy.
I have one or two things in mind that if you've picked them, it's been nice knowing.
Right. We're going to find where the line is tonight.
Oh, great.
All the movies have something to do with pie or pizza, and it'll be explicit in the clip, or it will be in the title or theme of the movie. That's next. Ladies' Night. We have a full boat. Nothing but first-time ladies callers for $50 Shakey's gift cards. $50. Courtesy of Shakey's. That's all next. KFI AM 640. We are live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You can listen to KFI everywhere, like you haven't noticed.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.